Are you struggling with a good night's sleep? I know that I've had that challenge on and off over the last few years of my life. And for many people who are starting down that perimenopausal road, sleep tends to be one of the first elusive creatures to go. If you're struggling with sleep, I'd like you to join me for this upcoming episode for maybe a slightly different way to downregulate at the end of the day than you might have considered before.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Irizarry. I'm an East Asian medicine practitioner who is passionate about women's health and helping women to live their best lives. My goal is to put you in the driver's seat of your health, offering holistic solutions for a symptom free life. Statements made in this program are for educational purposes only and not intended as a substitution for medical consultation or advice. We do not claim to diagnose, treat, or cure any diseases. This podcast is inclusive and welcomes all gender identities. The focus of the program is on biological function, and we will use the term women throughout, but it is referencing physiological and social challenges for biology, not identity. Come as you are, I am happy you're here and welcome all performances of identity. I hope you find something helpful in this show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Reproductive Rebel podcast. Sleep is such a huge issue. And I am really excited that we have done this 3-episode series. This is the 3rd episode, talking about different ways to improve your sleep quality. Because that is like one of the number one things that I hear from clients on a regular basis is, "Ugh, I didn't sleep good." And especially as you're heading into perimenopause and into postmenopause, but particularly during those perimenopausal years, sleep quality is everything. And it's usually one of the first signs that you're starting down that path is sleep disruption. So it is really, really common for people who are starting perimenopause to say, "Oh, hey, I am noticing that I'm getting up between 1 and 3 in the morning, and then my mind is wide awake and I can't go back to sleep until closer to 4." Super, super common to hear. It's one of those things that is so common that it's like a snowball effect where you're not getting good quality sleep because it's being broken during a window where in Chinese medicine understands that there is a lot of restoration of the qi that goes on during that window. And when there isn't a proper restorative period for the vital energy in your body, you wake feeling groggy and brain foggy and having a hard time to move in the morning. And it's super, super common. Stress can affect this, stage of life can affect this. So we've talked about sleep hygiene. We've talked about why women need more sleep. Okay. So if you haven't caught episode 11 and 12, I would highly recommend you go back and check those out. In episode 11, we talked about the fact that women need 8 to 10 hours of quality sleep in order to properly affect hormone expression. We talked about sleep hygiene, that even the smallest bits of light, like the one that still blows my mind is the light on the smoke detector is enough light to disturb your sleep. And think about how many of us either don't have light blocking curtains or there's enough ambient light in the room from electronic devices and alarm clocks and all of those types of things that it affects how deeply we sleep. So, in this episode, I want to offer yet another tool to help support your sleep and your sleep quality, and that's pelvic steaming. So, I've talked about it on and off over the course of the last 4 seasons in different episodes, but if you haven't caught any of those, pelvic steaming is also known as vaginal steaming, perineal steaming, yoni steaming. It goes by many names. I use pelvic steaming because 1, I think it's the most anatomically correct, and 2, it's the most inclusive because every body has a perineum, regardless of gender performance. So I use pelvic steaming, although I tend to see in certain circles that yoni steaming is more common terminology for it. But we tend to think of pelvic steaming as a tool simply for periods. I want to get pregnant. I want to support my fertility, so I steam. I'm having period cramps. I'm having irregular cycles. I steam. I'm having issues with infections. We did talk about this in a past episode. I use steam to deal with infections. Yes, please do that under the care of a practitioner because that has to be done delicately, but it can be very effective for that. Something that I don't see talked about a lot, even in the space where there are other steaming practitioners, is how helpful steaming is for sleep. So, when I have a client that I know is struggling with sleep quality, this could be life circumstances, this could be illness, this could be stress, this could be stage of life. Remember, I started off saying this is a big one for perimenopause. There are millions of us hitting this window, and usually being warm at night and having sleep disturbances are two hallmark symptoms that you're starting down this path. And it's not falling asleep, although that can also be a problem. It is staying asleep that is often one of those key indicators that you're starting the perimenopausal journey. And it's subtle, right? Like it's not the hot flashes and the night sweats, at least at the beginning, that everybody tends to identify as the calling card for, oh, I must be in perimenopause. It can be subtle things like I'm half in, half out of the covers, and I wake up in order to adjust the covers because I'm warm enough that it wakes me up. Often it'll be in that 1 to 3 window when that happens. Or you'll have a supportive spouse that'll go to throw the covers over you because traditionally you've been cold. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, "Oh, I'm too warm. Oh, this is awful. I feel like oppressively warm. Why is that?" And you realize that you don't have a leg or an arm outside of the covers anymore. It's subtle. It's really subtle. That's how it starts. But whether it's that or you habitually get up to go to the bathroom during that time frame and then you cannot go back to sleep, these can be really early calling cards that you're starting to head down the perimenopausal path. But I digress. So, pelvic steaming can be an incredible ally for helping your sleep quality. It relaxes 37 muscle groups in your body. 37! Sitting on this little stool with a hole in it that has a warm pot of steaming herbs underneath it. All you do is sit there. This is not for any of you that are not familiar with what this looks like and you have not seen what this practice looks like and you're listening to this episode for the first time. I promise you, it is not a Stanley steamer tool that gets inserted into your body. There are so many aspects of Western gynecology where the tools go up and in, right? So we tend to think that steaming, when we're talking about steaming, that there has to be some sort of like insertion, and there isn't. Okay. It is not the triggering thing that most people think it is. You literally sit on what looks like a taller footstool that just happens to have a hole in the middle of it. And you put a pot underneath it that has a customized herbal tea solution that is gently steaming, and you sit over it. That's it. You just sit for anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. If you work with a trained practitioner, they help you determine what your body needs and how long you should be sitting for, because that really does depend on what your body needs, and I cannot emphasize that enough. But this is not an invasive practice, and yes, it can be used for a wide range of gynecology-focused stuff, but it is really, really powerful to aid and support down regulation before you go to sleep. So, there are lots of great bedtime practices like qigong or yoga before bed. using a red light. I've talked in past episodes about foot soaks. Maybe I should do a whole episode on that. But warm feet are fertile feet, regardless of whether fertility is your goal for all of these things. When you're supporting fertility, you're having good reproductive hygiene. It means that you're reducing symptoms in the way that your period expresses itself. And keeping your feet warm is a big part of that equation. Going to bed with cold feet can affect your quality of sleep. Pretty wild, right? So, reading before bed helps your mind to calm, to get into more of a still place to prepare you to go to sleep. So if you're having a hard time falling asleep, these practices are very helpful if your life is very stressful. And let's face it, in today's Western culture, whose isn't? It helps you to prepare for good quality sleep. And now a break from our conversation for a partnership message. You've been told to hustle, grind, wake up early, and do more. But here's the truth: rest is the most productive thing you can do. And the right kind of rest starts with Sia Silk Sleep Mask, your new sleep sanctuary. I've tried so many sleep masks, and I thought I just had to deal with the discomfort of slipping straps and light still getting through. But then I found this one, and I'm never going back. Made of 100% mulberry silk, it's the only mask that creates total blackout with its comfortable, oversized eye cups that don't smush my lashes while feeling weightless on my face. My sleep, next level. This isn't just a sleep mask, it's an investment in your nervous system. Sia Silk is a women-owned small business committed to high quality and sustainable luxury. Check out the show notes for the link to grab yours and rest like you mean it. And now, back to the show. Pelvic steaming can be also one of those practices, and I'm a huge, huge fan of it. So 37 muscle groups. Just from sitting on this little box, you relax 37 muscle groups in your body. Who doesn't sleep better when their muscles aren't tight, right? It stimulates 2 acupuncture points in your perineum in a gentle, non-invasive kind of way. It helps to move stuck emotions in the body. It helps with heat and dampness. So again, let's go back to our perimenopausal woman. Yes, I know I'm focusing on this, but I have had such a huge number of you that are 38 to 41 that are going, I can't sleep. My period is crazy. What is going on in my body? So I felt like bringing that emphasis into this particular episode was definitely called for. But anybody who's having a hard time with their quality of sleep can benefit from this because often the things that keep us up in the middle of the night are the things that are stressing us out, right? Who here, raise your hand if your mind, when you do wake between 1 and 3, decides that that is the coolest time to solve all of the world's problems? Anybody? I know mine does. I'm not alone in all of that. I know I'm not because I talk to you guys all the time and you guys have the same challenges. I'm also not absolved of all of these challenges. I use these tools, but I'm human, right? I have issues with some of these things too. When my stress level goes up a little bit, I find that even with all the best practices in the entire world, if the baby wakes me up during that 1 to 3 window, my brain thinks it needs to solve the world's problems because I am perimenopausal. So this is a journey that many of us at some point in our experience are going to struggle with our sleep quality in the middle of the night. And it stinks because then we wake up in the morning feeling like we haven't slept at all. And the more that happens, the more it affects our hormone expression, the more it affects your hormones, the more cycle related challenges you have. And it's a big, messy snowball. So, pelvic steaming helps your system to relax. It helps your muscles to relax. It tells your body that you're safe and you're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Because in our modern world, not very often are we chased by an actual tiger down the street. Not ruling it out, but generally that's not the case. But it's more like 100 unanswered emails in our inbox can generate that same kind of feeling in our system. Being overscheduled will generate that feeling in our system. Not getting enough good quality sleep in enough nights in a row will generate that kind of feeling in our system. So there are so many things in the modern world that make us stay or often fly into the sympathetic response. Okay, that's fight, flight, freeze. Instead of being able, and some people are stuck in that sympathetic state. Their button is stuck on because they literally eat stress for breakfast all the time, and they're so used to being in that heightened state all the time, they can't even tell that they're stuck. It's really awful how our environment in our world now really does make us sick and affect our sleep quality and all of these things, so that our bodies that are really brilliant just cannot figure out how to do what they need to do because they think they're constantly being chased by a tiger. So, steaming helps your nervous system to calm down and to come down into the parasympathetic or the rest and digest. Being able to downshift the gears in your system so that you can actually relax and feel what a relaxed state is a huge gift. Now put that just ahead of when you go to bed, and it's a really great recipe for being able to sleep like a champ. I love steaming before I go to bed. It's not the only time of day. Maybe I should also qualify that. It's not the only time of day that you can steam either. I do get asked that question. You can steam any time of day. But I love trying to put it, even though it feels like a little more work when I'm tired at the end of the day, to do it before I go to bed. I love doing it towards the end of the day because I feel so relaxed. It's like when you step out of the sauna or a really cozy bath or something of that, or a great massage, like, you just feel relaxed and your muscles are looser and you're like, "Oh, sleep sounds great right now." And you're able to sleep more restfully. So, this isn't gonna be a crazy long episode, but I really wanted to highlight that pelvic steaming does so much more than just periods. And one of the absolutely beautiful things that it does is help prepare you for sleep. When I steam, we stay at a campground during the summertime for pretty much the entire summer. We have a seasonal campsite, and I love being out there. I love being in nature. I love being able to have my coffee on the porch in the morning. Like, it's amazing for the soul. But the people in the campground around us that know me and know what I do, like, they know when I've steamed, because if I steam and then I go out and I sit by the fire, I've had people call me out on it and they're like, "You steamed, didn't you? It's all over your face." And it's because, like, my face is more relaxed, my body is more relaxed. I just feel wicked chill and I'm like, "Okay, let's sit around this fire. It's gonna be great," right? Like, all the cares of the world kinda go away when I spend that self-care time to steam. I do it for my cycle, yes, but I also do it because life is stressful. The world is busier than it's ever been before, and it's a way that I can help my body from the comfort of my home to chill out. And in a world where expenses are going up and sometimes we can't, you know, go do a spa day like we would like to, we're looking for ways that we can create that spa-like experience at home. This is one of the best ways to do it because you're supporting your health at the same time you're getting that chill and relax feeling that you do at the spa. So if you are curious at all about pelvic steaming, please reach out to me. I would love to share more with you. It is a drastically underutilized tool, and I want to help you feel your best and embrace your life. And for those of you that are perimenopausal, you're welcome. You will sleep better, I promise. So be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions about pelvic steaming and how you can use it for sleep, because a good night's sleep, there's just nothing like it.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Reproductive Rebel. Reproductive Rebel is recorded by certified peri-steam hydrotherapist and acutonics practitioner, herbalist, and Chinese nutritional therapist Adrienne Irizarry of Moon Essence LLC. If you are interested in setting up an appointment for one-on-one support, ordering from our store, or checking out our course offerings, visit our website at moonessence.life. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and get insider information on upcoming events and offerings. Join the conversation. Like and follow us at Moon Essence Me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Your voices make this program possible. Thank you all for your continued support.